Today we're going to break down a really powerful legal argument. It claims that the official story of how several inmates died at the Bibb County Jail isn't just a little bit wrong, it's physically impossible. So let's deconstruct this thing piece by piece and see exactly how it challenges the official narrative. Okay, so let's start with the official story from the Bibb County Sheriff's Office, or the BCSO. On paper, it's simple and it's tragic. And as you can see, this is the narrative that's been used to explain away multiple deaths inside the jail. But there's just one big problem with that story, according to the legal filings we're about to look at. And, well, that problem is a flat-out contradiction of fact. It's pretty straightforward, really. The legal rebuttal points to the jail's own inventory logs and first-hand observations and says, inmates aren't given bed sheets. This is the first and maybe the most fundamental crack in the official story. Right? This one simple fact just blows open a much bigger question. If the official story is built on something that doesn't even exist in the jail, then what really happened? That's what the forensic argument in these documents sets out to answer. All right, let's get into it. The whole argument is built around two core claims that are described as not just unlikely, but as total physical and mechanical impossibilities. And this is where it gets really interesting. The legal filing doesn't just say no bed sheets and leave it at that. It specifies what inmates do get, these heavy industrial-grade blankets. And the argument boils down to basic physics. These things are just too thick and stiff to be tied into the kind of knot that could actually support a person's body weight. But it doesn't stop there. Beyond the so-called dead sheet, the argument attacks the anchor point, the sprinkler head. You see, modern jail-grade sprinkler heads are actually designed with a safety feature to prevent this exact thing. They're made to break away under a low amount of weight. We're talking 20 pounds or less. So picture it. The weight of a full-grown adult would instantly snap that head and flood the cell, and yet, the reports don't mention broken sprinklers or flooded cells. That's a huge hole in the story. So if the official suicide story doesn't hold water, what's really going on? Well, the legal argument says these impossible stories aren't just mistakes. They're a cover-up for a much larger systemic problem inside the jail. And this document right here, this is the heart of it. It highlights what the source material calls the core hazard. It points to a critical, known failure, cell doors that just would not lock. It even notes they were over 40 years old. Inmates could jam them, they could get out whenever they wanted. This created what the filings call an open-door environment, basically a free-for-all where violence could happen anytime, unchecked. Which, of course, leads to the next big question. If everybody knew the locks were shot and that it was creating an incredibly dangerous situation, why on earth didn't they fix them? It's a life-or-death problem. Well, as they say, you have to follow the money. The legal argument suggests the answer wasn't a lack of cash, but a matter of priorities. And that trail starts with the jail's inmate commissary fund. And check this out. This is a county budget document. Look at the #1 goal listed for the commissary fund. It's not about inmate welfare or safety. Nope. It's to, and I quote, ensure continued profitability of inmate commissary operations. It's right there in black and white. This was a revenue generator, first and foremost. And was it profitable? Oh, yeah. You can see right here in the schedule of revenues, the money just keeps piling up. That end-of-year fund balance just grows and grows. Which brings us to this number, $2.1 million. By the end of fiscal year 2019, according to this official report, the commissary fund had a surplus of over $2 million just sitting there. So you've got this huge safety problem on one hand and over $2 million on the other. This is what the legal argument calls the $2 million choice. And this is the absolute crux of their argument. They're saying this wasn't an accident. It wasn't an oversight or some tough budget call. With more than $2 million on hand, the decision not to fix those deadly locks wasn't just a mistake. It was, as the filing alleges, an intentional choice. A choice to prioritize money over safety. And this just lays it all out, side by side. It's so stark when you see it like this. On one side, you have the problem, a known, deadly hazard of cell doors that don't lock. And on the other side, the solution, more than enough money to fix it.
So all these threads, the impossible stories, the broken locks, the money, they're all woven together into a very specific legal argument. It's designed to get around something called official immunity, which often protects officials from lawsuits. The claim is that these weren't just simple mistakes, they were deliberate actions from a whole system of neglect.
According to the filing, the danger was manufactured in 3 distinct steps. First, an administrative choice. Hold on to $2 million instead of making the jail safe. Second, the predictable result, structural negligence that created a chaotic, open-door environment. And third, the cover-up, using these fraudulent-sounding reports, these physically impossible scenarios, to explain away the deadly consequences. So after deconstructing the official story and following the money, we're left with this one final, really provocative question. As the slide puts it, when a system is both this dangerous and this profitable, is that just a tragic coincidence, or is it a business model?